Hi, 5th grade. This is Mrs. Gilka with your flipped math lesson for tonight, 6-6. Today's objective is to use the standard algorithm. Oh, I didn't spell algorithm properly. There we go. Algorithm to multiply decimals by other decimals. So far, we've been multiplying whole numbers by decimals, but today, both of our numbers are going to have decimals in them. It's not that hard. In fact, most of you probably know how to do it already. So here's our practice problem. Jen walked 1.7 miles in 1 hour. If she walks for 1.5 hours or 1.5 hours, how far will she go? So before I just use the standard algorithm to figure it out, I want to show you that you can also use the distributive property to figure it out. Do you remember using the distributive property before with other numbers? This is another way to show your thinking. Remember, that's one of the things that you have to be able to do to earn a grade of a 3.0 or higher, is to be able to show your thinking and how you figured out a problem and to explain it. So I've taken 1.7 and 1.5 and I've put them on this chart, and I put the decimal point with the second digit, whatever is the digit that is just to the right of the decimal point. So I've got 1.7 times 1.5. I'm going to go ahead and box those. And then remember, we're multiplying the numbers together. So I'm multiplying 1 times 1 first. 1 times 1 is 1. Then I'm going to multiply 1 times 0.7. And that's 0.7. 1 times any number is whatever that number was. And then I multiply the bottom number times the top number. So 0.5 times 1 is 0.5. And then 0.5 times 0.7, there's the only one that's kind of tricky. If you know that 5 times 7 is 35, and then you can count how many digits are after decimal point. There's 2 digits after decimal point, so you put your decimal point with 2 digits behind it. So now we have all these partial products, 1, 0.7, 0.5, 0.35, and you just add them up. Okay, so 5, and then 7 plus 5 is 12, plus 3 is 15, carry the 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So your answer is 2.55. Now, this is just one way to do it, but you can also, of course, use the standard algorithm, which looks like this: 1.7 times 1.5, this is a great way to double check your work if you needed to show it a second way. So 1.7 times 1.5, let's use the standard algorithm, make sure that we get the same answer. 5 times 7 is 35, carry the 3. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. Put in a placeholder for the next digit. 1 times 7 is 7, and then 1 times 1 is 1. Add it all up. 5 plus 0 is 5. 8 plus 7 is 15. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. There are 2 digits after decimal points, so we got to put 2 digits after decimal point in our answer. So our answer is 2.55, which is the same answer we just got using partial products in our distributive property. Okay, so today this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be using 2-digit numbers and multiplying them by other 2-digit numbers. Our first one is 9.3 times 4.1. Okay, go ahead and solve this problem, and then we'll check it and see if you get it right. Okay, so 9.3 times 4.1, let's start multiplying with the 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 9 is 9. Put a placeholder for the next digit. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry the 1. 4 times 9 is 36, plus 1 more is 37. Add up the partial products. 3 plus 0 is 3. 9 plus 2 is 11. Carry the 1. 1 plus 7 is 8, and then 3. We have 2 digits that come after a decimal point, so we have to put 2 digits after a decimal point in our answer. Our answer is 38.13. Let's try another one. 3.02 times 0.6. Go ahead and try it, and then we'll check it. All right, let's see if you got it. 6 times 2 is 12. Carry the 1. 6 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. 6 times 3 is 18. And then since our next digit is a 0, we don't need to use that to multiply because everything times 0 is 0. But we do need to count how many digits come after a decimal point, and there are 3. So our answer has to have 3 digits to come after a decimal point. 1, 2, 3. So our answer is 1.812. Let's try another one. 0.7 times 1.9. Go ahead and multiply this and see how you do. For bonus, see if you can use the distributive property and multiply it. Alright, so 0.7 times 1.9, I'm going to go ahead and write down the standard algorithm. And then I'll use the distributive property to double check. 7 times 9 is 63. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 6 is, plus 6 is 13. And a brain fart again. And then since the next digit is 0, we don't need to multiply times that. We do need to put the decimal point in. There are 2 digits that come after a decimal point. So in our factor, so that our product has to have 2 digits after a decimal point as well. 1.33 is our answer. Let's use the distributive property to figure that out as well. So I've got 1.9, and then I have 0.7. And I guess I don't have to put the 0 up there, but I'm going to just for giggles. So 1 times 0 is 0. 0 times 0.9 is 0. 1 times 7 is 0.7. And then 0.9 times 0.7, there's the tricky part. Just multiply it without the digits, without the decimals first, and you get 63. And then there are 2 digits after decimal point, so there has to be 2 decimals, or 2 digits after decimal point there. Then we just add up the partial products, so we have 0.63 and 0.7. Don't forget to line up the decimals. Add them up, and you get 1.33. Okay? 12.6 times 0.2. Okay, so I've got 12.6 times 0.2. I'm going to multiply that. 2 times 6 is 12. Carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. 2 times 1 is 2. Next digit is the 0, so I don't need to multiply that, but I do need to find out how many digits come after the decimal point. There are 2. So my answer is going to be 2.52. If I were going to do this with the distributive property, remember that each part of my box here has to have each digit in its own place. So I have to use kind of the expanded form of each number. So 12.6, the expanded form is 10 plus 2 plus 0.6, and each of these digits gets its own separate area. So I've got 10, 2, and 0.6. And then I'm going to be multiplying those times 0.2 and then adding them up. Okay? So 10 times 0.2, I can just multiply that. 10 times 2 is 20. Or, well, I'm going to take off the 0. 0.2. Sorry, I've got myself all confused. Okay, so 10 times 0.2, remember when we multiply number times 10, we move that digit, that decimal point over to the right, however many zeros there are. So if I move it over to the right, then it's just the number 2, okay? So 2 times 0.2 is 0.4, and then 6 times 0.2, 6 times 2 is 12, and then there are 2 digits after decimal point, so 0.12. Then I add it all up, I've got 0.12 times 0.4 or plus 0.4 plus 2 point nothing. So then I add that all up. I get 2.52, which is the same answer I got when I multiplied. Okay. Now the distributive property takes a little bit longer, but it's just another way to show your thinking. All right, guys, that says owari, which is Japanese for all done. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow. Don't forget to get your homework signed by your parents. See you in the morning. Bye-bye.